Hello, everyone. How are you tonight? I just wanted to continue um, Hobgoblin series. This is a follow up of last issue, which was issue 249. This is 250, as it's called here. Special normal size 250th issue. That's Lars. Behold the face of death. Behold Hobgoblin. It's great. Steal it, says a Hobgoblin in the corner box, which is hilarious. Um, you know, I changed actually the cover for the cover photo for this. I couldn't stand the way Klaus Janson did the line work. He just completely botched it. Um, I'm a stickler for the consistent line work of the Romitas. And here comes Klaus fucking up the eyes really, really badly with thick blobs. That's fine, that shadow stuff he does, but then look at this: one, two, three, four, five. And then there's only one, two, three. It's very weird. Doesn't make sense. He just, again, just plopped it on. So as you can see on my cover photo, I changed it a little. I just wanted it to be better. That's all. And it's like, hey, but that's what he intended. No, that's not what John B. Jr. intended. Klaus, he fucked it up. Anyway, um, hope you're out there tonight. I don't know who's out there. I don't know what's going on, but I just wanted to continue this. I had a long day today. I just got a little free time here, so. This is called Confessions. Let's see if I can pull that in a certain way without, if I do it here. Okay, that's fine. Confessions. Sorry, I got a little cough here. He's been blasted, gassed, and beaten by the mysterious Hobgoblin. And now, bereft of his warning spider senses, Spider-Man suddenly finds himself surrounded by an angry mob. And notice what Klaus did here as opposed to the cover. He got it right. That line there, the jawline, everything's rock solid. Rock solid, the line work. So he didn't botch this up the way he botched up the cover. But this is interesting the way Roger Stern writes it. He's been blasted, gassed, and beaten by the mysterious Hobgoblin, and now bereft of his warning spider senses, Spider-Man suddenly finds himself surrounded by an angry mob of multi-millionaire businessmen. Possibly the best issue of Spider-Man ever. What better way to celebrate our 250th issue? That's hilarious. If they do say so themselves, I guess, right? It's funny. Let me continue here. Okay. You can't see it here. Give me 1 second. I gotta make this a little smaller to fit it in. Sorry, guys. Let's make sure it fits in. Okay. Sheesh. I try to stop the Hobgoblin before he can extort any money from these stuffed shirts, and what thanks do I get? I get a little stuffy. Hope I'm okay. What? Hey, where do you... that's a great shot. They ought to be happy that I showed up. It's true. It was pure luck that I found out about Hobby's blackmail scheme. That and the fact that one of his intended victims was my old buddy, Harry Osborn. When Harry received a copy of evidence that proved his late father had been the murderous Green Goblin, I knew that the blackmailer had to be Hobgoblin. Only he could have had access to the Goblin's old journals as Peter Parker. As only he could have had access to the Goblin's old journals. As Peter Parker, I convinced Harry to let me tag along to his meeting with the blackmailer at his father's old club, but I hadn't suspected it would be a mass meeting. Evidently, Hobgoblin has something on a dozen or more members, including my own personal gadfly, Daily Bugle publisher J. Jonah Jameson. I just wish that had been I just wish that had been my only surprise of the day. Okay, I just wish that had been my only surprise of the day, excuse me. But when Hobgoblin finally showed himself and I butted in as Spider-Man, he had a little gas attack prepared just for me. The gas neutralized my danger detecting spider sense, and then he laid me out good. He probably would have finished me off if one of the club members hadn't stood up to him. Boy, I never thought I'd wind up owing my life to that man, the Kingpin. Yeah. And again, Klaus is being pretty faithful to the line work that Ramita laid down, where again, this is going that way, this way, that way, and so forth. Nothing is exactly, it's just, it's all curved and curved, and it makes sense here. Again, aesthetically more pleasing, not technically accurate, because if it was accurate, the lines would go this way, limp way. But Ramita and his father understood. Well, I want to make it look like a cylinder, a symmetrical line work, webbing, greatly placed on the body. It's great. And again, Klaus is doing a great job just really holding on to the lines that Ramita laid down, which is great at. Because he can get sloppy sometimes. Klaus goes off on his own direction and you know a little too rough. Of course, he had his own reasons for saving my hide. You're helping me? Why? Thought this hobgoblin is a very capable man. In time, he might grow bold enough to interfere in my operations. I prefer to let you apprehend him. It's simply good business. In the last issue, he didn't wear his old classic suit with the purple pants. I think he wore a completely white suit, if I'm not, or a black suit, actually. I think it was all black, like a tuxedo. Talk about weird. The Kingpin, one of my oldest enemies, saves my life, and these guys who I try to help want my head. You insufferable fool! Now the Hobgoblin will probably double his demands on us. So they're blaming Spider-Man for everything when he saved their asses. Um, well, you look at that. I would have thought that Jameson would be getting the tar and feathers ready for me by now, but he and Harry seem to be the only ones who don't want to flay me alive. JJJ keeps looking away as if he's ashamed to face me or something, and Harry keeps looking around for yikes, he's looking for me, or rather, for Peter Parker. As Pete, I promised him I'd stick close by while he went into his closed door meeting. Time for a strategic withdrawal. That's a great shot there, also. Oops. I can't seem to do that with these. If I can do that, okay. Yeah, that's a great shot there. Um, Clinging to the sheer wall of the historical building, Spider Man swiftly skitters around the corner, surreptitiously re entering the club via a little used room to assume once again his private identity. Great shot there. The nice perspective there. I think it was Klaus Janson who, when asked about working with John Ray Jr., I think he said that his perspective is like second to none. He has a great grasp of it. He sure does. Um, oh, good. My civvies are right where I left them. Whew. I still feel a little woozy after that pounding Hobgoblin gave me. I'd better shake that feeling and fast. I have to get back downstairs and assure Harry that I haven't abandoned him. And for about 4 or 5 issues, as he was doing the Amazing Spider-Man, John Romita Jr. was also drawing the X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men. He was going back and forth between both monthly. He was, kicking ass on both, and then he gave up this for the X-Men. I wish he had, I wish he stayed on both, but that wasn't in the cards. And this is the final issue of Roger Stern and John Romita Jr. and Spider-Man, I think, ever. I don't think they ever teamed up again. It would have been great to have seen a reunion at some part. Hey, Jimmy, how's it going? It looks like a quiet night tonight, but thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Mere moments later, Harry, here I am. Looks like I missed out on the excitement. Sorry, but nature called, and it's funny. The colorists are all wrong now. Also, they've given different colors for all the suits and the kingpins and clothing and so on from last issue. Um, Oh, Mr. Jameson, hi. I'm afraid I don't have my camera with me, or that's just as well, Parker. I hardly need pictures to remind me what happened here today. Huh? Harry, what's going on here? I can't believe that Jameson's just going to walk out of here. Surely not before the police get here. I don't think. Sorry, guys. I don't think anybody will be calling the police, Pete. See for yourself. The steering committee was planning to remodel anyway. Ha. Yes, I think we should just forget this unfortunate incident. The boys and I understand perfectly, don't we, boys? Yes, sir. Shortly and pleasanter, amid pleasanter surroundings, Jack's coffee shop. You have these kids looking in the window, or a couple, I guess, checking out the menu. I couldn't believe it, Pete. My father's oldest associates were ready to beat the living daylights out of Spider-Man. You should have been there. Yeah, it must have been something. Too bad Spider-Man couldn't stop Hobgoblin. That would have settled this whole mess. Maybe, maybe not. At any rate, just before Hobgoblin left, he said he'd be in touch. And you just, okay. Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, I didn't see anyone was on, so I jumped on, and I guess if you don't pay attention, those things happen. But I was gonna check. I'm gonna go through this video. Sorry, this book, and then check out and go on the stream myself. And you can just bet that whatever demands he'll make on us next time will be higher. But what bothers me most was how familiar Hobgoblin seemed with the workings of Dad's club, almost familiar enough to be a member. That's telling right there. It's awful to think that one of Dad's friends would try to blackmail me, almost as awful as knowing that Dad was the Green Goblin. I wonder how much blackmail material Hobgoblin pulled from Osborn's journals and how much he already had. Just what all is in those journals anyway. The Green Goblin discovered my identity before he died. What if that secret's in there too, just waiting for Hobgoblin to find it? I need to find Hobgoblin now more than ever. But how? Without my spider sense, I can't even track down the spider tracer Kingpin stuck on Hobgoblin's jet glider. Sorry, this thing keeps clicking back. Apologize. Okay, Jimmy, thanks. Well, what have we here? I didn't mean to sound like Billy D. Williams, but it just came out that way. Well, what have we here? One of Spider, say that's him on the cover saying to steal this book. Here he is, that image right there. It's great, steal it. It's funny. So here's Hobgoblin. How nice of him to give me one. Okay, sorry. One of Spider-Man's self-adhering microelectronic tracer bugs, if I'm not mistaken. How nice of him to give me one. But then he won't be needing them anymore. According to the information in Norman Osborn's journals, he relies upon his uncanny spider sense to follow their signal. And after the gassing he received today, he won't have any spider sense for a long time. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Dear, dear Norman, if only you could have seen how I'd improve upon your genius. Something about it, the way he's calling him also Norman. Maybe he knows him on a first-hand basis, or maybe not. But that just seems to be the case, because Harry alluded to him being possibly a club member. And, if you know about that story that Roger Stern wrote in the 90s, I forgot the title again. It's a three-issue series by him and Ron Friends that tells the truth about the Hobgoblin. Not the final story, because he's been used in since for years. Even a couple of years ago, he came back, and then also right now in the current run, in the new 7th relaunch of Spider-Man #1, which is silly. All of these relaunches, but a Hobgoblin's back. The original Hobgoblin, I think. But then your poor mad mind probably wouldn't have recognized them as improvements. Surely it was your psychosis that kept you from using the discoveries in these papers as effectively as I. After all, it was amid these pages that I found the formula for increasing my strength and used it to make myself even stronger than you had been. So that's a little different there. He is stronger than the Green Goblin was. The Green Goblin was a lot to handle. A lot to handle for Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. Hey Jimmy, I remember reading this as a kid, and it was like super cool as Spider-Man was chasing the bad guy in a preemptive strike in an effort to keep his identity safe. Absolutely right. And he kept bringing it up in the last few issues because he's like, he's afraid that that could upend his entire life with Aunt May and Mary Jane and so on. He needs to get to him, you're right, as a preemptive attack to make sure it doesn't happen. So the pressure's on. He's not just sitting back. And he goes, I found a formula for increasing my strength and used to make myself even stronger than you had been, perhaps as strong as Spider-Man. Now, there's an implication there that Spider-Man's stronger than both of them still, both the goblins, which I think just might be the case. These guys have different, they're airborne, a little different for Spider-Man. They can dodge him a little better sometimes. They have different abilities, not just the strength, but the bats and the pumpkin bombs and the finger lasers and so on. And for the improved nerve deadening gas that robbed the masked man of his extrasensory warning system. Interesting. The final entry tells of a plan Osborn had to use that gas as a tool to expose Spider-Man's identity. Now, look at that. So he is just about to come across the possibility that he wrote it in his journals. And why wouldn't he have? If he recorded all his journals, of course, he would have recorded the identity of Spider-Man. So yeah, Spider-Man has a clear reason to be concerned, and here you find out, explicitly. That's just damn good writing right there. I wonder if he succeeded in learning that secret before he died. With that, there were a way of finding out. The secret of Spider-Man would be worth more than all of Osborn's other secrets combined. Later that afternoon at Peter Parker's apartment building, take that, and that, whap, whap, and that. Lazy husband. If he had these rugs clean like he'd promised, I wouldn't have to be breaking my back. If I can't track down Hobgoblin directly, maybe I can still get a lead on, oh no, of all days for my landlady to be up here beating rugs if she sees me. Huh? What's that? Huh. Could have sworn I heard something. All this dust must be getting to me. I'm starting to imagine things. Boy, that was a close call. I'm going to have to oil the hinge on the skylight more often. And I guess, he didn't have the warning system. The spider sense. So again, just personally speaking, I just love that Klaus is sticking to the line work here. I love it. That's the line work they laid down, and that's what he's sticking to, despite his, he takes a lot of liberties, Klaus. If you look at comics that he inks and others ink, big difference. He's very bold, he's very in your face, he's very rough, and he's good. But there are times a little too rough, I think, for superhero comics. For Punisher, he's great. For other things like that, I think he's great. Daredevil. For superhero stuff, not so great. Like when he inked Jeremy Jr. over in Superman, that did not work at all, at all. He goes, if my spider sense was working, this would never happen. I can see right now that I'll have to be a lot more careful until it comes back, if it comes back. And take that, whap. High atop many of the man-made peaks of Manhattan roost the homes of the rich and powerful. That's a great shot there. Romita Jr. Again, I just love his establishing shots. One such dwelling is the penthouse duplex of financier George Vandergill. Talk about plush. Excuse me, Georgie. Got a minute or two for a little man-to-man talk? What? Who in the devil? Don't tell me you've already forgotten your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We were both at that little bash at the club earlier today. Remember? I was one of the ones who left early. Well, if you think I'm just going to stand still for your barging into my home, easy, Mr. V. All I want is a little information. Remember our other little playmate, Hobgoblin? Well, I'd like to put him away for a nice, long time, and I think you might be able to help me. Like, maybe you noticed something about him that reminded you of somebody you know. Or maybe the sword he's holding over your head is a clue to his identity. Please, if you could tell me something, anything, I might be able to track him down. Once I find him, you won't have to worry about any blackmail. Spider-Man is determined to stop him, bring him in, unmask him, and he's speaking in a confident way to the point where it's like, I don't know. I mean, he's been pretty elusive. He's been dangerous. He almost killed him last issue. I guess, desperation is kicking in. That's really why he's acting like this. Don't be naive, Spider-Man. I don't have anything to worry about now. Hobgoblin doesn't have any information that can do me harm. I only took part in that charade this afternoon to find out who was involved. As for who he is, I haven't a clue. Now get out of here. If you want to frighten a confession out of somebody, go talk to the others. They're weak. They'll crack in a minute. Thanks for nothing, Mr. Ego. Hello, Vandergill here. Yes, sir, I'm calling to confirm your reservations on Flight 106 nonstop to Bimini. Will you be needing a return flight? No. That is, I'll book it when the time comes. So here is Roger Stern trying to, put some possibilities here. That is this the Hobgoblin? Is that the Hobgoblin? Shortly at a palatial estate in the Hamptons. Roddy, will you quit pacing the floor and come sit down? I'm beginning to think you don't like me. Eh? Don't be ridiculous. I just have a lot on my mind. Of all times, my brother to be out of town if I ever needed him. I could help you forget your problems if you just sit down. Not now, Sheila. Can't you see I'm... Sheila? My name is Stephanie. Who's Sheila? Oh, no. Stephanie, it's not what you think. Sheila is a buyer for Saks who's been on my back lately, and not one more word. I don't want to hear about it. Stephanie, I can explain. Slam. Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt such a domestic scene, Kingsley, old worm. But I'm on a scavenger hunt for hobgoblins, and I'm in a big hurry. That's a great shot. Even though the ink got a little jacked up there, I guess, because of the light. And again, I love this cylindrical form here. The placement of the webs. I love that stuff. What do you know about the Hobgoblin? Who is he? What does he have on you? Talk. Nothing. I don't know a thing. I haven't the slightest notion of why he could be blackmailing me. Now leave me alone, please. Nuts. I won't learn anything from him. He's too scared to talk. Keep that in mind, guys, about who this is and who the last guy is and so on. Excuse me. Again, this the tubular thing, right? The cylinder type thing. I love it. It makes perfect sense. A lot of artists don't employ that. The Ramittas do, and those who I think, even those who sometimes think they're doing a Ramitta, don't do that. To make the lines in the opposite way. Over the next 12 hours, relying upon a list of names and addresses Harry Osborn had compiled for Peter Parker, Spider-Man visits each of the men who had been at the meeting, but always the answers are the same. Are you out of your mind? Absolutely not. No, I'd sooner talk to Jack Anderson. Why would I trust you any more than I do this Hobgoblin person? Finally, with the dawning of a new day, there's just one guy left to try, and he's sure to give me the air. But I have to try. I have no other alternatives. This is such a drag. I never realized how much I'd come to depend on my spider sense. Zap. A big blast. I don't know what's going on here, guys, and I'm sorry about that. I keep clicking the thing, and it just jumps to completely different pages. I can't stand it. I just wanted to show this one image here. That's great. God damn it, guys. I'm sorry about that. I hate that shit. Imagine that all of your senses have been deadened, that you can see no light, that every inch of skin has been numbed, that even the sound of your own heartbeat has been denied you. Now imagine what it would be like if your senses suddenly returned, amplified 100-fold, just as a bomb went off. If you can imagine that, then you might possibly have the slightest idea of the pain Spider-Man just experienced. Spider-Man has just experienced. Only his amazing reflexes and his web shooters save him from a 30-story fall. Gah! What was that? Has my spider sense returned? No, the old familiar background buzz is still deader than a doornail, just like I almost was. I'm not sure how Hobgoblin's gas works, but I think it somehow numbs the central nervous system. My spider sense is still there. I just can't feel it. Interesting. So spider sense is still there. Hmm. He just can't feel it's being buried. The only thing I can figure is that some danger, some really big danger, flashed into being for a split second. Now this is again by the end of next issue is when Spider-Man ends up in that construct that the Beyonder sends into Central Park. So for the last two issues, he had this blast because, however dead his spider sense is, it just flashed big time right there because the Beyonder's coming and he can anticipate it. And Roger Stern was setting it up nicely. The only thing I can figure is that some danger, some really big danger, flashed into being for a split second, something big enough and weird enough to nearly take off the top of my head, to nearly take the top of my head off. But what could possibly be so huge a threat that I'd still feel it through the numbness? And how could it disappear so quickly? Is that all? Is that at all related to that other mysterious spider sense flash I had at Harry's party? Nuts. This is worrying. This worrying is getting me nowhere. It's certainly not helped me find the Hobgoblin. Just the same, I wish I knew what was going on. Yep, it's the coming of the Beyonder. He's breaking the construct. It's probably on its way, or I don't know. Somehow, Spider-Man can sense it before anyone else does. Minutes later, the worried web slinger finally arrives at his destination, just outside the executive offices of the Daily Bugle's publisher and editor-in-chief. Hey, comic books and goots. How's it going? The belt buckle Spidey symbol was a great back then. Yeah, it really was. And he used it often. He used it often. 7 skinny panels side by side, something no one does anymore. That's right. That's right. Very, very cool. Yeah. Yeah, he made some interesting choices here. A lot of long panels for Romita. Um, Roger Stern also writes a really good Jameson. Um, this reminds me of Miller's Jameson in Daredevil Born Again. A little more of a tough publisher, not just this crazy guy who wants Spider-Man dead and hires these mad scientists to make that happen. Here he seems like a serious guy who's full of remorse about what he involved himself with. Um, I created the Scorpion, an editorial confession by J. Jonah Jameson. So that's the dirt Hobgoblin had on you. You. Yeah, me. I knew you were mixed up with that Scorpion maniac somehow, but I never knew you'd actually footed the bills for making him what he was. Yes, I did. Yes, I did it. And it's not a thing I'm very proud to admit. But by Godfrey, I will not submit to blackmail. J. Jonah Jameson admits his mistakes. That's a really good drawing, by the way. That's clearly, Romita did a good job, but you could tell that that's a lot of Klaus Janson there to really bring it out. I mean, that's really good stuff there. Great shadow, zipatone there, everything about this. Strong stuff. Baloney. If that's the case, you would have owned up to it years ago, you old hypocrite. How dare you call me that, you masked menace? You've never been too reluctant to call people names, pal. For years, you've editorialized against me, saying I was a vigilante operating outside the law. Well, isn't that what you've done? You and your scorpions and hired heroes and spider slayer robots, you're as much an outlaw as I am. And now that you've been caught by someone who has proof, do you think you can put on a hair shirt and throw yourself at the public's mercy? The public may judge as they wish. Hey, you can't make a public confession to something like this and still play editor-in-chief. Your career as a newspaperman will be over. You're crazy if you think otherwise. Yeah, and maybe I'm a little crazy too. Forget about the martyr bit, Jameson. I'll find the Hobgoblin creep. I'll find this Hobgoblin creep. I don't know how, but I will. And I'll even save your job. If that doesn't prove I'm crazy, nothing will. And then when this is all over, maybe the two of us outlaws can come to terms. Huh. See, that's just, again, it's a writer who knows his stuff, an adult, uh, treating characters like adults having them act like those themselves with some good, dramatic dialogue. And then Jameson is a little, you could tell he's a little smirking about it. Clack, clackety, clack. He's getting right back, writing it again. Soon back at Peter Parker's apartment, Parker's apartment, I'm such a jerk sometimes. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. This is true, yes. This is something years ago. I think he had this when he was young, when he wasn't relying on his spider sense. He was relying on this little machine that he built. There is a way I can track down my spider tracer if I can just find it. Aha, there it is. I thought I tucked it away in here. Wouldn't you know it'll be at the bottom of the trunk? Um, Comic books and hoots. J. Jonah Jameson is more of a real newsman when Stern handles him. Absolutely, no doubt about it. While it was funny back in the day, he was a madman. I mean, he was an absolute madman. He allowed his vendetta against Spider-Man, based on pure envy, as he admitted at one point. Um, One second, guys. I just gotta. Okay. Um, Aunt May's old jewelry box, and inside, my old Spider Tracer directional tracking receiver. Seeing this again really takes me back, way way back in Amazing Spider-Man number 11. Danny Fingeroth, the editor. Um, Amazing Spider-Man number 11. Wow, this is 250 at this point. Excuse me, guys. Um, I was still in high school when I assembled this little gizmo and the first of my Spider Tracers. All I was worried about at the time was keeping tabs on Dr. Octopus after he was released from prison. I never knew just how handy those tracers would prove to be over the years. Um, he's a scientist. They don't play that up too much, the writers of Spider-Man. But he is. He's a scientist. He's a genius. And I like that they play that up here a little. It was a year or so before I discovered that by altering the frequency of the tracers, I could pick up their impulses with my spider sense alone. It's been years since I've used the tracking receiver, and it looks it. The battery's leaked. It's a mess in there. In here, blast. There are some micro components in this thing that would take weeks to order, and I don't have weeks. The Hobgoblin is no fool. If he hasn't already found my tracer, he will soon. And when he does, he's bound to monkey with it enough to make it inoperable. I have to now. Curiosity got the best of the Hobgoblin there, because he's investigating this thing. He's impressed with it. I have to clean this up, which is good for Peter. He's like, this guy has also a mind, and he's interested in how smart Spider-Man is. He goes, I have to clean this up. I have to clean this thing up and pray that the contacts haven't totally corroded away. Then the only thing I can do is try to reset the frequency indicators and cross my fingers. Here's where I see just how much of a science whiz I really am. Click. Several hours later, in a squat two-story building, nestled in the heart of the warehouse district, the Hobgoblin gleefully busies himself analyzing his newest prize. Remarkable! The design work on this is brilliant. If Spider-Man made it himself, he must be nearly as gifted as Norman Osborn was. That's pretty damn cool. I love the circuitry. Very cool. Make that more gifted, Bright Eyes. Spider-Man. I don't know how you found me, but I do know this. You'll never leave here alive. Zap! He got the spider light. Way to go, bright boy. I thought my spider's signal lamp might be a tempting target. Too bad you didn't know it attaches from my belt. Now, what say we resume that little game we started the old day? You're mad. You haven't a chance without your spider sense. Sorry, Paleface. You're only half right. Mad? I am. Real mad. Boom! Great shot. Great shot. Krang. A lucky punch. Yeah, he's pissed and also shocked. That big wallop. A lucky punch, but your luck isn't limitless. You'd knock me right into the heart of my weapon stores. Mister, I could have knocked you into the middle of Fort Dix and it still wouldn't have done you any good. Man, this is awesome. What an awesome Spider-Man that Roger Stern writes. A very aggressive one. Wait, what? No. The way you've revved up my blaster, it'll explode and explode. It'll overload and explode. Boom. Okay, Hobby, it's all over. Time to take off your big bad mask and, I think not. So you thought you could defeat me without your spider sense, eh? If that sucker punch didn't convince you otherwise, then this will. Look at this. He may be right this time. I'm fast enough to stay out of that automated ray cannon's way, but it's firing at random, and without my spider sense, I have no way of knowing where it'll hit next. I'm bound to slip up sometime, and when I do, woof, boom, boom, boom. Great pose, great shot. His entire body is hanging on his fingertips, right there. No, not the journals. The journals? The cannon set them afire, and I hadn't made any copies yet. Blast you! Blast you! Hey, don't throw that! You know, he was just so angry because he'd lost the possibility of finding out Spider-Man's identity, which he was alluding to, and which he was reading, and maybe it was in the journals, and I believe it was. I believe it was. I'm sorry, guys. I'm yawning too much. I'm gonna finish this up and get going. Apologize. Comic books and who's Peter is a genius that seems lost over time. It really does. It really does. It's like, and I guess I blame the writers who aren't that bright, to be blunt. You know, you have to put that element into the Spider-Man character, that he's a genius, that he's, you know, he's a scientist. He struggles to make his way through life and pay the rent, but you know, that's where he was headed. And if were he a wealthy man, he probably would have really gone, you know, as far as he could in that way. But they don't do that because I don't think they think that way. So therefore, they impose their own bullshit on Spider-Man also. I remember that idiot Dan Slott had this one storyline where Spider-Man vowed that nobody dies anymore in this city. That's retarded. It's retarded. Millions and millions and millions upon people in that city, and he's going to make sure no one dies there. It's just, it's not idealistic. It's retarded. It's not idealistic. You know, I know people would pretend, oh, that's idealism. No, that's retardedness. And that guy sucks. My God. Now he's ruining Superman. Dan Slott on Superman. My God. It went from Brian like a Bendis destroying it, you know, just giving you no reason to follow it, and then now you got Dan Slott. And where's Brian Michael Bendis these days, guys? Where is he? You know, he made a mess of things on every comic he was in. It ran to the bank, and that's that. You know, out on the street, passerby stop and stare as a little building suddenly lights up like the sun. What the blazes is going on in there? Boom, boom, boom. The explosion is followed by fire. In instants, thick, acrid smoke fills the Manhattan skies. Mr. Jameson, sir, you sent for a copy boy? Eh? Oh, yes, I tell Joe Robertson there's some sort of fire in the warehouse district. Have him send a reporter over there right away. Yes, sir. Is that all? No. Take this down to composing. Have them set it for page 1. Great shot. Great shot. Endings, a conclusion. Next issue. Yeah, next issue, I think it was semi-written by Stern, but mostly written by Tom DeFalco. This is the end of, to me, what I think is the second best run on Amazing Spider-Man ever, after Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. The Roger Stern, John Romita Jr. was the best. It only lasted 24 issues. I believe 24, maybe 26. I think it was issue 26 when he came on with that Vulture story. So it was about 17 issues less than what Lee and Ditko did. and also a little not as consistent in the sense where Romita Jr. had like a different anchor every single issue. So yeah, I don't care for the next issue as much. I don't know what was going on there. It was Klaus Janson over Ron Friends. That was not a good look. They didn't really gel well at all. But I'm going to skip to maybe another issue at one point with there was a 2-issue story that's pretty good with Ron Friends, Tom DeFalco, Ron Friends. I just didn't like what he was doing. He was trying to do like a Ditko thing, but you know, I don't know. It was okay, but the Hobgoblin was written well. And then I'll jump to that 3-part series. I might even jump to there now. I'm sorry, guys. He really is comic books and goods. He sucks. I mentioned that I drew Dan Slott as Dr. Octopus, where he was holding multiple Twinkies in all of his mechanical arms and real arms, and they were also on the couch that he was on. I think it's funny. I got no reaction from that. I don't know if there's some people who like him or who know him personally. They probably know him personally, but I thought that was funny. And I also think it's funny when people don't laugh at things like that. I think there was one time I said in Comics at Kings, I said, we're drawing Muhammad tonight, and there's silence and maybe a little groan or two, which is I get a kick out of. I gotta say, I think it's funny. I'm gonna call it a night, guys, but thanks for being here. Appreciate it. If you haven't backed Pigman, please consider backing Pigman. I would really appreciate it. It's my first campaign, my current campaign, and I would really appreciate your support. 9-page preview, 5 different covers. I got 2 videos, 2 video trailers, and I would really appreciate your support. Jimmy, Comic Books and Cahoots, I appreciate it. Thanks for being here, guys. There's a lot of people on X, but there's no real interaction with people on X. That's just the way it is. That's the way the platform is, I guess. Sometimes if there's more people, they do. Let me show you something also, guys. And I'm sorry, man. I am tired. Let me just show you something quick. One of my posts blew up the whole night. I also did this, and you got really, really stupid people asking questions about, did Muhammad have a mustache, as if that's relevant. I drew Muhammad on my iPad today. What's going on? Okay. Strange. It's not playing? Huh. I don't understand. Okay. Very weird. Very weird. I'm going to try to get it now. I drew him on my iPad. I can't open it. It's not accessible. I guess they explained this post. It's not a drawn character by an angry expression, false work, including in Pigman. Okay. Very, very strange. I don't like that at all. I posted it. It was very visible. Hey, Boombots. How's it going? I don't know. Anyway, I posted this thing last night. It was quote unquote anti-war whores only oppose counterterrorism, not terrorism. It's at 382,000 views, 24,000 likes, 5,000 reposts, and it blew up big time. And I got like hundreds and hundreds of followers also, which is great. I now cracked 27,400 followers, and a number of people were pushing back. But at the same time, this is just a simple truth to me. All these quote unquote anti-war whores out there who were trashing Israel, now trashing India. India was attacked. Israel was attacked. They have the moral right to wipe out their aggressors, the moral right to do that. And the only scum who go out there, the only time you see these scum, passionate, angry, is when counterterrorism happens. When they take terrorism as the given, that's acceptable for them. Counterterrorism, it's not an exaggeration. That's why it blew up as it did. That's why it took off. Um, that's why it took off. And I got a lot of rats also coming out there. But yeah, we need to support our friends. These are people who are not our enemies, who are facing the same enemy that we face. And I really got these rats on a lot of pundits revealed who they were post October 7th. They revealed who they were. They stood with civilization's enemies against Israel. And now they're doing the same thing with India and blaming India somehow, some way. It's impossible to me, but that's what they're doing. And they think that India, just stop fighting those who killed your innocents. Just stop doing it. No, they have the moral right to do it. And I hope they pummel them out of existence. That's the only way it happens. And it's interesting also, I had some Muslim rats coming up and trying to say, hey, you're an Islamophobe. And I was like, I guess, guys, even on idiots, it doesn't work anymore. On me, that's long gone. But even on idiots, it doesn't work anymore. I think it was censored, comic books and cahoots. I'm going to see if I could play it on my phone. Let's see if it plays there, because it's just not playing here as I'm. Okay, it's playing here. Look, you can see it. I really don't like that I can't see it on the other one, but that's me drawing Muhammad on my iPad and recording it. It's about a minute long. If you guys don't mind taking a look. Oops. God damn it. I hate that. Yeah. Yeah, so it's about, it's a minute long, and at least it's not playing on the computer for some reason. But it's just, a reminder to people, and it's like you can draw Muhammad and live without dying. I resent when people try to say, well, if I draw it, it's a death sentence. That's just stupid. I've been drawing him for 20 years, about 700 times. No, you can draw him and live. Just don't be reckless. That's really all it comes down to. Don't be reckless. Don't go out there and pretend that you can just go anywhere without any kind of security or whatever. But anyway, guys, thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. I will join you guys on Ethan's thing before I crash. I'm going to listen to it a little. Take care. Be well. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the commentary, guys. Until next time, be well.